Welcome to KXAN News Today. The head of Austin Police, the union, says police officers should not be responding to mental health calls. Follows an officer's conviction and termination. A judge sentencing former APD officer Christopher Taylor to 2 years in prison Tuesday for killing Maris De Silva in 2019. And De Silva was having a mental health crisis at the time.
Caldwell County is breaking ground on a new evacuation center. It's going to be on North Magnolia Avenue off of 183 in Luling. The center is also going to double as a community center with capacity for more than 500 people.
And the Austin Animal Center is hosting a free spay and neuter clinic this week. Pets that receive the surgery at the clinic can also get free vaccinations and microchips. Registration and drop-offs start at 7:30 this morning at the Austin Animal Center. A legalized component of marijuana could be banned again in Texas. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Miller.
Good morning. I'm Sally Atlantis. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick plans to ask lawmakers in this new year legislative session to ban all forms of THC in the state. According to our partners at the Texas Tribune, he made that announcement yesterday. Lawmakers authorizing the sale of consumable hemp in 2019 and marijuana are both cannabis plants with different levels of THC.
Patrick says retailers are abusing the law, though. He says they're using loopholes to market products with unsafe levels of THC, including to minors. The legislature is reconvening on January 14th.
First warning weather with meteorologist Tommy House.
Hey, happy Thursday. Is it Thursday? Feels like Thursday. Yeah, okay, good. I almost said Wednesday. I was kind of biting my tongue there. Here's Central Austin, our West Shore home camera. We have some reduced visibility, kind of a spooky shot there. We'll continue to watch the dense fog out and about, but cloudy skies over the clouds and radar, and that will continue to be the trend throughout the day today. Temperature check 55 in Rockdale this morning, 56 in Austin, some upper 40s in the hill country. We're all on the mild side. We should be in the low 40s this time of year, so you feel a little bit of humidity and mild conditions out and about today. Rain coverage, we're going to keep that 10% through the morning hours, but we should be cloudy and dry by the afternoon into the evening, but that's going to be a different story Friday into the weekend. Your bus stop forecast for today, dropping off the kids to school, mostly cloudy in the mid-50s, and picking them up, we're dealing with temperatures in the low 60s. I'll have an updated look on your rain chances this weekend coming up.
Thank you, Tommy. The Supreme Court is tackling the issue of gender-affirming care for minors and whether states can restrict such procedures for that. That's things like hormone treatment or speech therapy. Justices hearing oral arguments considering a challenge to Tennessee's Republican-backed ban on gender-affirming medical care for transgender minors. Well, no matter how the court rules in this case, it's going to have a broad impact, as more than 20 other states, including us here in Texas, have passed laws similar to what we've seen in Tennessee. A ruling is expected by the end of June. Well, the state is closer than ever to passing an education savings account, or ESA, program.
And this would allow families to use state money to pay for private school tuition. Governor Abbott calling for universal school choice following Texas families and allowing them to use it for education expenses at private schools. Last year, the Texas Senate passed a $500 million legislative bill. It would have given an $8,000 tuition credit to families. 90% of that would be for low-income and disadvantaged students.
And that bill did not pass. The bill's author, Brandon Creighton, plans to try again, though, this next session. Democratic lawmakers telling us they're going to fight back again.
If they allow for a universal voucher, we're going to have millionaires and billionaires raiding our public education budget. We'll be taking money from working class kids all over the state.
I'm very optimistic that ESAs and school choice, that education freedom will pass this time around.
Senator Creighton also says lawmakers are going to pass a budget increase for public schools and a pay raise for teachers. Those are two measures that failed last session amid the disagreement over education saving accounts.
For some insight on this, there are concerns about using tax dollars to pay for private school. One is over the impact this could have on small public school districts that could lose students. Now, others believe passing the bill could give children access to better education and parents more control.
For us to take our public tax dollars and underwrite private schools, any private school, but especially a religious school, is wrong.
If we were to lose 5 or 10 kids even in a small school district, we're going to get impacted on a very large level here, even in Bartlett. Whereas 5 or 10 kids in Temple or 5 or 10 kids in Belton or Killeen wouldn't make hardly that much of an impact.
I remember being one of those students who was not reading on grade level, who had a bleak future, and thanks to Education Choice, that changed for me.
I'm here with hundreds of other parents. They want to be empowered with the freedom to make the best educational choices for their own children.
Last year, Governor Abbott called 4 legislative special sessions with school choice as one of the priorities. Despite that, lawmakers were unable to make a deal on it, and it in turn killed a $800 million education package.
Improvement to Austin's homeless services are now on the way. At the Public Safety Commission meeting just yesterday, the city sharing an update on the progress with the number of people leaving the marshalling yard and then entering into permanent housing doubling over the last year, increasing from 15% to 30%. And the marshalling yard operations may be extended to the end of the 2025 fiscal year. The Homeless Strategy Office is going to seek approval from the Austin City Council next week, and that's to amend the contract with Family Endeavors. That's the Rapid Rehousing Office. There will also be new intake procedures at other city shelters. Now, for details on the new intake procedures, you can head over to our website at KXAN.com. Good morning, everyone. A live look from our camera over on top of the Austonian in downtown Austin. You can see the cloud cover right there. Even though it is dark and early, Tommy House is the latest. When it comes to your forecast on this Thursday, also looking forward to your weekend as well. Well, let's get to the news this morning because the search continues in New York for the gunman who was caught on video shooting and killing the CEO of United Healthcare.
And now police are trying to find a specific witness, a woman who stood just feet from the gunman and ran away when those shots rang out. Police say it was a targeted attack. The healthcare executive, Brian Thompson, was headed to an investor conference at the Hilton Hotel. The attacker shot him around 6:40 yesterday morning. Police say the shooter wore a distinctive gray backpack. You can see here in the photo that shooter then ran across the street, jumped on an e-bike, and was last seen entering Central Park just a few blocks away.
I hear the shot, and when I look at the guy was a gun, like the silent gun, got like a black gun, and I saw him after he shot him, he ran across the street this way.
Police found 3 bullet casings and a cell phone at the scene. Thompson's wife telling NBC News her husband recently received death threats or some threats, but did not elaborate. Good morning. This is a live look outside from Bastrop. You can see the wind whipping around a little bit out there. Some water on the lens as there's a little mist, a little drizzle here over Central Texas. Just something to be aware of as you step out the door. Thanks for joining us here on KXAN News today. Want to get to your news. Families going to be gathering for the holiday season, and this is a good opportunity to sort of check in on some of your older family members, especially looking for any changes that could indicate the onset of Alzheimer's or dementia.
You want to do it in a delicate way,
yes,
right? Because these conditions develop slowly. Changes may be more obvious after you spend some time apart. Early signs of dementia can include memory loss, confusion, difficulty keeping up in a conversation, and it may also cause some to neglect their hygiene or wear clothing that is not suited for the weather. If you have to bring up the subject with your family member, be gentle.
Being calm and understanding and just, asking them open-ended questions. How are you feeling? Are you noticing any changes with your memory? How are you keeping up with your daily task?
Yeah, well, everyone experiences changes, right? As they age, agitation and personality changes can indicate that the symptoms are not just from aging, but may come from Alzheimer's or dementia. Testing from a healthcare professional can help you be sure about it.
Let's go live out to New York City, and this is a look at the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. Lit up there with thousands of lights. NBC hosting that celebration last night for the event. And ahead this morning on Today, we're going to introduce you to the Albert family which donated this very tree.
How does it feel to have your tree picked as the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree?
Well, I consider it probably one of the greatest honors of my life.
Wow. And it is a beautiful tree.
Wow.
Look at that, just growing in their front yard. This story coming up on Today.
It is a perfect tree. Doesn't it look
I know,
like
it is perfect tree.
New York City's actually might get some flakes today, too. They have an
Really?
Alberta clipper moving through the Northeast,
Well,
which is
it's
aesthetic.
beginning to feel a lot like Christmas.
A little Hallmark
huh?
movie-esque, as they say. Yeah, no snow for us, but we may have some showers come Friday. We'll show you what's going on with the latest forecast. Here's Bastrop Allied Medical Emergency Room. A few drivers out and about. Winds are coming in out of the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour this morning. Hope you'll have a great start to your Thursday. 56 in Austin. Winds are out of the north, I should say, at 6 miles per hour. Humidity at 93%. Here's what's going on. Big picture across the country. There's that Alberta clipper I was mentioning. Some snow showers up and down the I-95 corridor. New York City getting some flakes. Boston up to Maine. And then in our area, no rain to the east of us toward Louisiana. That's your best chance of a shower or storm today. We'll have some clouds continue to build in throughout the afternoon hours, and we'll stay considerably cloudy for your Thursday. Here's your day planner. 10% chance of rain at 8 a.m., 52 degrees, low 60s for a high. Clouds will keep us a bit cooler. 10% chance of showers by noon, and then we should be dry by the afternoon into the evening hours. Find your city here. 59 Lampasas, 62 Georgetown for a high, 64 in Bastrop and Fayette County will stay in the upper 50s out toward the hill country, maybe gusty at times up to 20 miles per hour. Look at the rain chances Friday, Saturday into Sunday. We'll have an increased probability of getting a good shower or two, and that will drop off come early next week. But the weekend, any sort of outdoor plans, you may need an umbrella or a rain jacket. Here's our high-res model throughout the day today. We'll keep a 10% chance of showers mostly east of I-35. I think the hill country will be dry all throughout the day today. Make it a little bit of clearing overnight tonight. Some fog could build in. We're going to have a weak cold front move through. No impacts really. You're not going to really notice it, except drier air will fill back in for your Friday, which will actually keep us cooler. More rain showers will progress out of the hill country, mostly west of I-35 for Friday rain. But then Saturday, 70% chance of coverage. We've got a little more widespread rain activity throughout our area. 52 for a high. We'll say in the 50s for Friday and Saturday. Big picture, there's the front moving through. Notice along that cold front, no rain for us in Austin. But then what's going to happen is we're going to have a low pressure build into the panhandle, and that's going to allow the door to be open for numerous days of some rainfall. Again, accumulations looking a little bit more aggressive here as we're looking at early preliminary rainfall totals through Sunday. When it's said and done, I bumped it up to 1 to 2 inches for the Austin area. I think west of I-35 toward Llano, Mason, and San Saba, 1/4 of an inch to an inch when it's all said and done. But we need the rain. We're in a extreme level 3 out of 4 drought. Our deficit for the year, we're like 7 inches behind or something like that. So we'll take every drop we can get. 62 today. I think we should be staying dry. And you may notice a bit of a gust to the air. And tonight, 40 degrees, much drier air filling back in, a more seasonable low temperature in the upper 30s to low 40s. Here's your first warning weather 7-day forecast. Texas is in Georgia. We'll keep 60% chance of rain Friday, Saturday, 52 on Saturday. That's kind of a damp, brisk feel. But then 78 on Monday for those who missed the warm weather. Another front moves through, 62 on Tuesday. Look at that overnight low early Wednesday, 36. Our normal first freeze in Austin is December 1st. That is our next shot of cold air in our area.
Hey, Tommy, thank you. Let's talk about your news this morning and how 3 Fort Cavasso soldiers are accused of smuggling immigrants from Texas, into Texas from Mexico. And now they are facing criminal charges for doing that. The Justice Department says a U.S. Border Patrol agent tried to stop a car in the border town of Presidio. When the agent came up to the car, the vehicle took off, hitting a Border Patrol car and the agent inside. Agents were able to stop the car and found 3 people without documentation. Federal prosecutors say one of the soldiers' phone revealed messages about smuggling the operation from Mexico into Texas.
2 elementary children are hurt after a gunman opened fire at a Northern California school yesterday. Happened at the Feather River School of Seventh-day Adventists in Oroville. The 2 children both going to the hospital. They are expected to be okay. Police say officers found a man dead with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. That gunman is not believed to be affiliated with the school. Police have not yet said anything about a potential motive.
The Biden administration is offering more than $20 million to shore up local government's wildfire response efforts. This is money that's going to go towards converting vehicles to wildland fire engines, part of the president's Investing in America agenda. Now, these vehicles are meant to help small emergency vehicles respond to fires much faster. It comes after a lot of fires burning millions of acres across the country this year, with Texas seeing its worst fire in state history that we saw over in the Panhandle. Local governments can receive grants of up to $10,000 to $500,000. There is a new resource aimed at helping people who are homeless and living off the grid.
Yeah, and KXAN's Nabil Ramanda shows us some of the new systems in place that could help people connect. These are people that are living in some of the hardest places for these homeless service providers to get to.
In Austin, any given night, there's 5,000 to 6,000 people experiencing homelessness in our streets. And we only have about 1,000 shelter beds.
You'll find many of those people down on their luck turning to places like Sunrise Homeless Navigation Center. Mark Hilbelink, the man in charge.
We're trying to move from a disconnected system to a very interconnected and coordinated system.
That means connecting more facilities that have been created to help the homeless. Places like the North and South Bridge shelters, the Marshalling Yard, the Arch, and 8th Street shelters, which is run by Urban Alchemy. These are places Greg McCormick with the Homeless Strategy Office says are crucial to getting people off the streets.
We know that being in shelter is a much easier place for the case managers to be able to engage with those individuals.
And the city is adding a new resource. Hilbelink says Sunrise has a new hotline to help those trying to get into the Arch and 8th Street shelters.
It provides a kind of an always-on access point for people who are experiencing homelessness to be able to call and get information and to be able to do all of the things that they would do at an in-person location.
A much-needed tool given many people live deep in the woods or aren't close to providers. But there's a limit to the access. The wait list closes once it reaches 200 people and reopens once it reaches 50 people.
Our goal is to increase our shelter capacity so that more individuals can access shelter.
But until then, staying connected is key.
Finding people in a world where you have to look in 100 different places just creates a mass inefficiency.
Nabil Ramadna, KXAN News.
Thanks, Nabil. Now, Hilbelink also working on setting up pods, he says, around the city, which is going to help people experiencing homelessness to video call their hotline. And he wants to focus on areas like hospitals, libraries, and jails.
Going in depth here, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is currently suing the Sunrise Navigation Center. He says it's putting the neighborhood at risk with its practices. The AG's office calling the center a magnet for drug and criminal activity and highlighted the proximity to an elementary school. That lawsuit claims there is drug use in front of children, violence, and public urination. Center claims it helped nearly 11,000 people last year, though, and served almost 80,000 meals. The man who runs that center said it is trying to be a good neighbor and added as a faith-based ministry of Sunrise Community Church, he believes their services are legally protected.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Just about a month and a half ago, a hungry Georgia squad came to Austin and really dominated Texas here in DKR, giving the Longhorns their only loss of this 2024 season. Steve Sarkisian and this Texas group has been clear. They knew they needed to win out after that Georgia game to ensure they get a spot in Atlanta for the SEC championship game. They did that, and Steve Sarkisian says the biggest thing he learned about his team since then, it's the player leadership that has stepped up more than ever.
It was smooth sailing there for a while. And then when you get hit in the mouth and you stumble and you fall, you know, as I touched on, we had to get back up. We had to get back up quickly, and we had to go compete again. And I thought that this team did that.
Just trying to be more vocal and just kind of be more positive. You always try to stay positive in tough games or whatever's going on. I feel like that kind of helped the team.
Just our urgency level on how we do things. If your urgency level is high for wanting success, you don't tolerate certain things, and you have a different approach to certain things.
Saturday, basically a road game for the Longhorns. Athens awfully close to Atlanta, so a lot more Georgia fans expected at the SEC championship game. The Longhorns have talked this whole season about how they thrive in that road environment. Saturday against Texas A&M, an example. Steve Sarkisian saying when his team was driving the bus around campus and saw all the horns down and everything from the Texas A&M fans, that helped them lock in and know what they need to do Saturday, where they got to win in College Station. For now at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium, Noah Gross, KXAN News.
Coming up, a call for a major change in how Austin police protect the community. Why it's happening now, how this could impact you. If you're listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thanks for joining us. We hope you'll join us on air for that story. You can find all our stories on our website, KXAN.com.